Welcome back to The Explainer. So let's challenge a core assumption right out of the gate today. You're likely someone who values learning, right? You study, you analyze, you put in the intellectual heavy lifting, and boom, you see results. That's just how our modern world operates. But today's Explainer is focused on completely disrupting that reliance on intellectual acquisition. We're going to dig into an ancient text that claims the absolute highest form of realization completely defies our modern strategy of simply trying harder.
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about it for a second. Can you literally think your way into deep sleep? Have you ever had one of those nights where you're tossing and turning and you try to actively force yourself to sleep by sheer willpower? It never works, does it? Actually, the harder you try, the more awake you become. Sleep only arrives when you finally stop trying to achieve it and just let go. Keep that highly relatable analogy in the back of your mind because it perfectly captures the boundaries of our intellectual effort when we talk about deep self-realization.
Section 1. The limits of intellect. Why we just can't force realization.
Now, what's really interesting here is that our analytical mind is, a brilliant tool. It solves our daily problems, it navigates our careers, it balances the budget. But when it comes to true, profound spiritual realization, it hits a massive brick wall. Ancient Vedic philosophy actually categorizes our mental tools into two distinct groups. First, we have Meta, which is sharp reasoning and intellect. Then we have Sruta, meaning extensive study or absorbing a lot of teachings. Now, the texts don't say these are bad. They're excellent, absolutely necessary tools for clearing away basic misconceptions. But they are just that, tools. They are not the final destination. You simply cannot analyze or study your way into non-dual realization. It's an entirely different paradigm.
Moving on to Section 2, a provocative Vedic verse. We are looking at Katha Upanishad 1.2.23.
To really get why the intellect falls short, we have to look directly at our core text. It's a massive challenge to the modern academic mindset. Listen to this translation. This self cannot be attained by instruction, nor by intellect, nor by much learning. It is attained only by the one whom it chooses. To such a person, this self reveals its true nature. I mean, wow. Think about how profound and deeply provocative that statement is. For anyone who is used to earning their way to success, earning degrees, climbing ladders, being told that ultimate truth cannot be attained by instruction, nor by much learning, is a really tough pill to swallow.
And the whole thing really hinges on this one specific Sanskrit word, vrunite, which translates to chooses. This indicates something incredibly humbling. Spiritual liberation, or true realization of the self, is not a transaction. It's not some commodity you can purchase with a currency of study hours, grit, or complex rituals. You literally cannot buy it. It must choose you. Which brings us to Section 3, the paradox of choice. So what exactly is our role in all this?
If we can't earn realization, and it's completely up to the self to choose us, what do? Just sit around and wait? Well, this single verse sparked centuries of intense debate. We're going to look impartially at the two primary ways this choice has been interpreted. On one side, we have the grace perspective, championed by teachers like Ramanuja, and on the other, the non-dualist perspective, taught by Adi Shankara. Let's break down exactly what both of these mean so you can really see the genius in both interpretations.
First up, the grace perspective, which is deeply rooted in bhakti or devotion. In this view, vruniste literally means divine grace. But here's the catch. This grace isn't just handed out randomly. The texts tell us that realization happens when the divine chooses to reveal itself to a seeker whose ego has completely, 100% dissolved. As long as you are proudly walking around saying, "Look at how much I've studied, look at how spiritual I am," your ego is blocking the door. Grace only flows in when that striving, demanding ego gets entirely out of the way. Now, contrast that with the non-dualist perspective of Advaita Vedanta. Adi Shankara interprets this verse in a beautifully self-referential way. He argues that the self-choosing itself means that the intense longing you feel for realization, that is actually the self seeking itself through you. There's literally no separation. The choice being made is simply the moment you drop the illusion that you are a separate seeker trying to grasp something outside of yourself. You aren't earning it, you are realizing you already are it.
Section 4, surrender and receptive readiness. Let's talk about making that shift in mindset.
So the crucial point is, whether you lean toward grace or non-dualism, the practical application is exactly the same. Shifting from intellectual hoarding to absolute surrender. If you want to put this ancient wisdom into practice, here is the roadmap. Step 1. Acknowledge your intellect's limits. Sharp reasoning clears the path, for sure, but it doesn't walk it for you. Step 2. Surrender over acquisition. True spiritual growth is actually a massive process of unlearning,
shedding layers of ego rather than accumulating more facts. And step 3, cultivate receptive readiness. You aren't hunting for truth. You are preparing a quiet space for it to arrive.
And this state of readiness connects directly back to the final line of our central verse, Vivrenute tanam swam. The self reveals its form. Think about what this means for you, right now. It means this revelation only occurs when the instrument of your mind is purified, incredibly quiet, and deeply receptive. It is the exact opposite of a busy, striving, anxious mind that's trying to consume another self-help book or grind through another meditation technique. It's the quiet stillness of leaving a window open and just letting the breeze in.
Finally, Section 5. The map isn't the territory. A quick grounding reminder for us all. This is a really vital reminder for anyone watching who feels stuck in their personal growth, even though you're doing all the right things. The warning here is loud and clear. Academic mastery can so easily feed the ego. You might become a total expert on the concepts of spirituality, but mistaking that intellectual understanding for actual realization, that only feeds the exact ego we are trying to dissolve. It's the ultimate trap. It's wonderful to study the maps, the texts, the philosophies. They are beautifully drawn maps, but please do not confuse the map for the territory itself. Actually, walking the territory requires you eventually to put the map down.
So I want to leave you with a really powerful question to chew on today. What do you need to unlearn to find your own receptive readiness? Where is your brilliant intellect actually getting in the way of your peace? Take a little time today to just stop trying, stop acquiring, and see what reveals itself when your mind is finally quiet. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.